Hey y'all. So I'm on my day 30. I did miss 2 days, 2 Saturdays. That got really busy of my challenge, but it was a good experience. And today I really want to go a little bit deeper and I guess really um, open up some thoughts that I have playing in my head, and I just really want to get them out, and I really feel like I'm not the only one, even though I don't really hear a lot of people talking about it, or maybe it just hasn't crossed my news feed. But um, one of the things that I don't know if I talked about it in any of the other videos, but I have um, I have been through a lot of counseling and healing, and just doing a lot of work on just healing things. And the more I go into the work, I find more things that need to be healed. And it's like an onion. It has layers. This thing is like, there's processing, and once you think that you've kind of done the work, there's more that kind of comes. And one of the things that I notice that comes up is that you will discover people that played a part in hurting you or disempowering you, just making you feel less than what you are. Um, and maybe they said some words that you carried into your belief. There's this thing, it's called limited belief, and it can um, cause you to kind of stay stagnant in your life, because there's blockage. There's things that will hold you back. And when you start going through the healing journey, you will discover these people. And it's hard, because it is people that you genuinely love. You really do. And it's really not their fault. They were just, it's what they learned. It's what they were conditioned. It was their coping method, their survival method, or whatever it is. It brought them to a place of they did what they felt like they had to do, or they thought was right. I mean, they learned it, and so they believed it, or whatever. It was just. Um, but if they haven't truly healed, if they haven't done the work that you have done, then they might not necessarily recognize what they have done to other people, and how it has affected them, because in their mind, they don't maybe see that it's wrong. And maybe their life is perfect. They put their life to be perfect. They got everything. And it's like, and in a way, you will yourself start to think, oh well, maybe I'm the one that was wrong. And it's like, no, 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 no. You've already uncovered and identified the hurt. And it's not like you were out to try to find how this person hurt you. A lot of times you identify the hurt, and once you identify the hurt, it behind the hurt is revealed the person, or the thing, or the incident, the circumstance. So it in a way, you got to be careful when you go into that, because it can, because here's what happens is that it makes it hard, because you can either avoid this person because you don't want to cause any confrontation, and actually cause some ripples in the waves, or like, so you don't want to what's that saying? You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to, you don't want to, everything, if distance is keeping the relationship good, then that's what you may choose. But there might come a time where you may have to confront it. And I do notice that some of the times these kind of people won't even ask any questions, you know. And I think that maybe it's because they don't see that anything that they've ever done is wrong, and in their eyes, maybe it's not. They didn't know. So people don't know what they don't know. Um, so it kind of puts you in a place that's hard because um, another thing that starts happening when you start healing is that you discover that you have to start setting boundaries with yourself and with others. So like with yourself, depending on what it is, if you know that your coping method for to deal with stress is turning to drinking alcohol or smoking or eating lots of sugary sweets or like whatever it is, you know if you know that those are your coping methods, or that like that you're not strong enough to resist those things, you may have to set some boundaries, and that's hard because if that's all you've ever been surrounded by in your life, all the friends that you have, that's what they do. All the get-togethers, the places that you like to go is revolved around that. So it's hard because when you start setting that boundary, people take it personal and they think it's about them. And I've even heard it myself. I'll be at like get-togethers and I'll hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, he quit drinking. He thinks he's better than everybody." Da 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 da. And it's like, really? That's what you're getting out of that? Like, you think that he quit drinking to make himself feel better than you all? Like, no. Like, he's making himself feel better than he was. It has nothing to do with you all. But people take it personal. And I think that there's that another part of the boundaries is that whenever you do have to set your boundaries with other people, and they take it personal and they get mad and they get upset and they want to try to manipulate you to, like, let's say that you have I don't know, I'm just going to pull some random things that could, like let's say you have small children and grandpa likes to cuss and drink and smoke in front of your children, and you're like, no, I don't want that around my children, and then you have to set that boundary with grandpa because you don't feel like he's a good influence on your children, and then there is a possibility that he could come back and manipulate the situation. He could say something like, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to like bring up a scenario without like, let's see. So maybe like the grandpa would say something like, it's hard to make up a scenario here. So maybe grandpa might say something like, oh, well, you don't want your kids to be around me. You don't love me no more. And, your kids are never going to get to know me. And then it's like the grandpa has never taken ownership of his own stuff and going through that healing change because, maybe he's, just wasting his life doing nothing and he has nothing, like, so for him, family might be the only thing that he has, but at the same time, because he hasn't done that healing process himself, he he's not able to really completely give his love to other people. So I guess that could be kind of like, maybe his happiness is based off of somebody else. You know, you probably heard like before, if you don't if you don't if you don't learn to love yourself, then it's hard to love other people. You know, because basically you're looking for love in all the wrong places, and you're wanting that validation. You're wanting other people to give you what you are not able to give yourself, and that's okay. I mean, it's not okay. I mean, it's if that is where we're at or you're at, I think that it's a place of grace. You know, the awareness is. I think that once we become aware of something in our lives, it hurts us at first, and it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. You know, like if my kids come to me and tell me, like, Mom, you know, like, you said this when I was little and it really hurt me. Like, it really, I carried that for a long time. And you may not remember saying it, but, you know, that child remembers it. And I think that it's hard. The awareness of it is hard, but the more you process it and maybe go to counseling, talk to somebody about it, you know, hash it out, you know, when you speak things out, there's something about, there's a release, there's a relief. So just being able to talk out your emotions, you know, how did that make you feel? And then also going deep down inside, like, why do you think you said that? Did somebody say that to you? And then it really goes back to, like, because a lot of times we say things and we do things and we don't know why. You know, we just do it because, well, my dad did it and his dad did it, and that's just the way we do it. That's how our family does it. You know, like, why though? You know, like, go deep into that and uncover it. So you might be doing something that really don't even make sense, and that it's been hurting people, but you've been doing it because that's just the way it's been done. But so I feel like I kind of jumped all around the place, but I just, I guess one thought kind of led to another thought, and a lot of the things that I have gone through, I have learned so much, and I know that there are people out there that are experiencing things and going through tough things, and they feel like they're alone and that they got to carry it by themselves. And that's not true. There are people that you can talk to. And one of my excuses when I went through my divorce, my first divorce, that's my only divorce, but and it's going to be the only one. So when I first went through that experience, you know, I became a single mom, just hit the ground running, working a full-time job, and just feeling like the weight was on my shoulders, and I was in survival mode. Like, I brought up this movie before, but well, I'll talk more about that movie, but it's basically like about being in survival mode, and you don't know really why people make the choices that they make when they're in survival mode, and sometimes they do hurt people, but, you know, like, and they do things that they wouldn't normally do. It's out of their character, but they're in survival mode. They're hurting, and so when they do find some relief or whatever, it's not usually the healthiest thing. So when I was going through my divorce, this divorce, whatever you want to call it, there was a lot of pain inside me, and I didn't know how to talk to anybody. I didn't want to feel like I was a burden to anybody, so I just put on this facade that everything was good, everything's perfect, everything's great, it's wonderful, you know. I just put on this yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, the kids are great. Yeah, we're doing good. So I put on this facade because if I told people really what I was feeling and what I was going through, they weren't prepared. They were not prepared. They would not. I don't think many of the people didn't know what to do. Um, and then, but I always felt like I couldn't go to counseling because, for one, I didn't have the money. For two, I didn't have time. And for three, I didn't want them to diagnose me with something and then put me on a medicine. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So there was all of that there, and I finally did. Long story short, my husband and I, we were taking care of elderly people, and then we were building a house. So if anybody ever has done any of those two things and then also done them back to back, you will then understand what stress is, or you can relate, or if you've even done just a fraction of those, because we were actually taking care of 3 elderly and then building a house. So um, it was very, very, very stressful, and I think it put me to the bottom of my barrel, and I finally went back to counseling, and that was so much healing. And I don't really even know like where I was going with this, because I really wasn't planning on. One of my cats just fell. I really wasn't even planning on talking about this, really, but I guess I was trying to lead to, if you do need someone to talk to. I do know some people. I know some free resources. I know some inexpensive places, and I can help you do some research on finding some places, to somebody to talk to. I know a lot of people that do different modalities, healing therapies. Um, so, and some of them do them virtual, some of them do them hands-on. Um, not well, there is hands-on, like kind of like emotional therapy, energy therapy, so there's that too. But like face to face, And then, but I mean, I know a lot of people all around the country. So if you are wanting some like people in person too, I can maybe possibly connect you with some people. So with all that, I know it was a lot today, but I just really had a lot on my heart, and I just felt like I don't think that my fear of what people might think, or what they, people that have never really seen this part of me, because there are still like family and friends that I don't really completely open up to and express my feelings, and because I just don't feel like they're safe people, and I can't help that, and they can't help that unless I talk about it. And okay, I'm really going more into this, okay, so I'm gonna let y'all go because I have to get going too. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day and be blessed. Bye.